Every song you've ever loved tells a story, but these 10 songs tell a true story. Real people, real events, real places you can visit. A ship that sank on Lake Superior, a mine that collapsed and buried a giant of a man, a plane crash that killed 3 rock and roll legends on the same night. I'm 77 years old and I've been playing guitar now for over 60 years. And these are 10 songs where every word actually happened. Stay tuned for the stories after the last song. Thanks for listening and thanks for your support.
Virgil Kane is the name, and I served on the Danville train till Stonewall's cavalry came and tore up the tracks again. In the winter of '65 we were hungry, just barely alive. I took the train to Richmond, McFell. It's the time I remember oh so well. Was the night they drove old Dixie down, and all the bells were ringing. Yeah, the night they drove old Dixie down, and all the people were singing. They went la 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 la. Like iron, rest as hard as kerosene. Wrote your mom's only boy, but a favorite one it seems. Begin to cry when you said goodbye, and you sank into your dream. All the Federalists say could have had him any day, only let him slip away. Chippewa on down of the big lake they call Gitchagumi. Lake, it is said, never gives up her dead when the skies of November turn gloomy. The load of iron ore, 26,000 tons more than the Edmund Fitzgerald weighed empty. Good ship and crew was a bone to be chewed when the gales of November came early. Searchers all say they'd have made Whitefish Bay if they'd put 15 more miles behind her. Well, they might have split up or they might have capsized. They may have broke deep and took water. All that remains is the faces and the names of the wives and the sons and the daughters. Out in the West Texas town of El Paso, I fell in love with a Mexican girl. Nighttime would find me in Rosa's cantina. Music would play and Felina would whirl. Blacker than night were the eyes of Felina, wicked and evil while casting a spell. My love was deep for this Mexican maiden. I was in love, but in vain I could tell. One night a wild young cowboy came in, wild as the West Texas wind. Dashing and daring, a drink he was sharing with wicked Felina.
Don't y'all remember to wipe your feet? She said, I got the news this morning from Choctaw Ridge. Today, Billy Joe McAllister jumped off a Tallahatchie Bridge.
I remember the year that Clayton Delaney died. They said for the last 2 weeks that he suffered and cried. It made a big impression on me, although I was a barefoot kid. They said he got religion at the end, and I'm glad that he did. Clayton was the best guitar picker in our town. I thought he was a hero and I used to follow Clayton around. I often wondered why Clayton, who seemed so good to me, never took his guitar and made it down to Tennessee.
I was born a coal miner's daughter in a cabin on a hill in Butcher Holler. We were poor, but we had love. That's the one thing Daddy made sure of. Shovel coal to make a poor man's dollar. My daddy worked all night in the Van Leer coal mine, all day long in the field of hoeing corn. Mama rocked the babies at night, read the Bible by the cold old light, and everything would start all over come break of morn.
Well, my daddy left home when I was 3. He didn't leave much to ma and me, just this old guitar and an empty bottle of booze. Now, I don't blame him because he run and hid, but the meanest thing that he ever did was before he left, he went and named me Sue. Well, he must have thought it was quite a joke, because it got a lot of laughs out of lots of folk, and it seems like I had to fight my whole life through. Some girl giggle and I'd get red, and some guy'd laugh and I'd bust his head. Well, I tell you, life ain't easy for a boy named Sue. Well, I grew up quick and I grew up mean. My fists got hard and my wits got keen. I'd roam from town to town to hide my shame. And I made me a vow to the moon and stars that I'd search the honky-tonks and bars and kill that man who gave me that awful name.
A long, long time ago, I can still remember how that music used to make me smile. And I knew if I had my chance that I could make those people dance. Maybe they'd be happy for a while. February made me shiver with every paper I deliver. Bad news on the doorstep. I couldn't take one more step. Can't remember if I cried when I read about his widowed bride. Something touched me deep inside. Day the music died. So bye-bye, Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. Them good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye, singing, this'll be the day that I die. This'll be the day that I die.
Every morning at the mine you could see him arrive. He stood 6'6" and weighed 245. Kind of broad at the shoulder and narrow at the hip. And everybody knew you didn't give no lip to Big John. Big John, Big John, Big Bad John, Big John. Nobody seemed to know where John called home. He just drifted into town and stayed all alone. He didn't stay much, kind of quiet and shy. And if you spoke at all, you just said hi to Big John. Big John, Big John.
Here's what I didn't tell you about these songs. Tommy Alsop, Buddy Holly's guitarist, lost his seat on that plane to Ritchie Valens in a coin toss. He lived to be 79. Waylon Jennings gave his seat to the Big Bopper and told Holly, "I hope your plane crashes." He carried that guilt for the rest of his life. Townes Van Zandt lived in poverty his entire career. When Willie and Merle took Pancho and Lefty to #1, it was the most money Van Zandt had ever seen. He died in a trailer on New Year's Day in 1997. Sue K. Hicks, the real boy named Sue, wasn't just a small town lawyer. He was one of the prosecutors in the Scopes monkey trial, one of the most famous court cases in American history. And the Tallahatchie Bridge from Ode to Billie Joe collapsed in 1972. A new one stands in its place. Bobbie Gentry still won't say what was thrown off of it. And the Monongah mine disaster of 1907, the real-life version of Big Bad John, killed 362 miners in a single explosion. It was the worst mining disaster in American history. So men like Big Bad John weren't fiction. They were in every mine in Appalachia. And every one of these songs proves something very important. The best stories don't need to be invented. They just need someone to put them to music. If you want more of these stories behind the songs, hit subscribe. Drop me a comment and tell me which true story surprised you the most. Thanks for listening and thanks for your support.